peas recipe. I'm gonna make Jamaican stew peas. Welcome to Island Food Time. I am going to break down all of my ingredients that I'm gonna use to make the stew peas. I'm also gonna show you how to use the pressure pot to pressure the peas. Salt beef, and I desalt the salt from the salt beef. Regular beef, and I washed it in vinegar. Kidney beans and coconut, and I deshell the coconut and cut it into small pieces. I'm going to extract the milk from the coconut using the blender. 1.5 pounds of flour, and I'm going to use it to make dumpling, small spinners into the stew peas. 1 scotch bonnet pepper, 4 cloves of garlic, green onion, thyme. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and watch the video to the end. Time to cook the peas. I washed the peas and I added 2.5 cups of water in with the peas. I'm going to leave the peas to boil, and in the meantime, I'm going to extract the coconut milk. I'm going to add the coconut pieces into the blender. I have 3 cups of water into the blender. I'm going to start my blender on the lowest settings. Time to extract the milk from the coconut. I have my strainer ready, and this is what I'm going to use to separate the coconut milk from the pulp. After I get all the coconut from the blender, I have to go in with my hands to squeeze and separate the milk from the pulp. I finished extracting the milk from the coconut. Time to check on the peas. The peas is boiling and all of the peas is floating in the pot. Time to sink the peas. I am going to add 3 cups of cold water, and the reason for adding cold water, the cold water gonna let the peas sink to the bottom of the pot. Time to add the coconut milk. Follow up by my thyme and green onion. I am going to add 4 cloves of garlic. Follow up by my seasoning. I'm going to start out with a teaspoon of meat seasoning, followed by a teaspoon of onion powder. I am going to add a few grains of pimento, which is also known as allspice. And cooking with allspice, it's going to add lots of flavor into the stew peas. Time to close the pressure cooker and let the peas pressure for 30 minutes. While the peas is pressuring, I'm going to start cooking up the beef. I added 3 cups of water in with the beef. Now I'm going to add it into the pot. Time to add season to the beef. I am going to add a teaspoon of seasoned salt, follow up by a teaspoon of meat seasoning, a few grains of allspice, follow up by a teaspoon of onion powder. I'm also going to add some fresh thyme and some garlic, and I'm going to cut the garlic into the pot to get the beef well seasoned. This stew pea is going to be so delicious because I'm using regular beef And I'm also using salt beef. I am going to add the salt beef to let it cook down with the regular beef. I'm going to let the beef cook down for 20 minutes. But meanwhile the beef is cooking, I am going to check on the peas because the pressure cooker is finished pressuring. It's time to cool down the pressure cooker. I'm going to move the pressure cooker into the sink and I'm going to run it under the tap water to cool down the pressure cooker. So it's safe to open the pressure cooker. I am going to remove the weight to let the rest of air out so the pressure cooker can be open. I am going to check on the peas and the peas is nice and soft. Now I'm working on the best part of this recipe. I'm going to show you all how I make dumpling. And if you don't have spinners in the stew peas, you're not making stew peas. I'm going to add a pinch of salt into the flour. And I'm going to shake it and mix it around to get the salt distributed evenly. Concept of how to make dumpling, you want to add water as you go. And a little elbow grease, we're going to knead the flour into a dough. And now that my dough is complete, it's just time to add it to the stew peas. Time to check on the beef. And the beef is cooking for 20 minutes and the beef is finished cooking. Time to transfer the peas into the pot with the beef. Time to taste the pot to see all of my flavor is synchronized well. Oh, and everything is dead on. Now I'm going to add the spinners into the pot. So you're going to pinch and you just roll. I know everyone is enjoying the video how to make Jamaican stew peas, and I think I give you guys all the steps. And I'm also gonna serve my stew peas with rice. And now that we get all the spinners inside here, I'm just gonna stir it around. Spinners and all the goodness is inside the stew peas. So place the cover on, and I'm gonna make it cook for 20 minutes. Now that the stew peas is finished cooking, and this is Jamaican stew peas, and I cook it the traditional way. I'm gonna shut my stove off and I'm gonna make myself a plate. I'm gonna serve the stew peas with rice, and remember, everybody to themselves if you want some of this, because guess what? I'm not tying anybody and I'm not telling anybody to tie anybody. Now I have the stew peas on a plate, and check the settings out. Everything is looking good. My beef is well cooked, and I'm going in to try a piece, and I even put some lettuce on the side. I'm gonna tell you guys, I'm gonna tie myself to my dish because I made the stew peas. Everything is tasted so good, not because I'm not taking the praise because I made this, but I'm telling you, if you follow this recipe, because if I try to share this with you and give you some of this, you're not going to be able to make it yourself, and then you're going to say I tie you to a wonderful recipe. You go help yourself in a pot, because guess what? I'm not going to be hearing I tie you. I rather tie myself. So I tie myself to this wonderful, lovely recipe. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'm going to take up my plate of stew peas because guess what? Uno vino van, me learn this. And who big, now get, and who no big no want. So, go make it yourself.